I've always said that card sleeves are one of, if not the most important accessory you can have for any trading card game. Obviously things like deck boxes and binders are super important, but in terms of how often you use them and how important they are to protecting your cards, card sleeves for me are at the top of the list for accessories that you should really try to get whatever you think is the best option out there. In today's video, I'm going to talk about an issue I've been having over the past year and a half with my favorite brand of card sleeves. This isn't a scientific thing. It's not calling any companies out. I'm just telling you my honest experience with a sleeve that I've used for most of the past 5 years that I've been playing Yu-Gi-Oh! And now I have to switch sleeves. And I didn't want to do that, but it's been so many times, it's not an isolated incident, that I feel like I have to make a video talking about sleeves again. I know I made a video a couple months ago, and that one, or I guess it was, I don't know, like a year ago or something. It was a while ago, and I made that video comparing a lot of different sleeves. This one, I don't have as many sleeves. I have 4 different ones, but it's really just like 3.5 different ones, which I kind of explain in a second, because these two are like the same generation of sleeves. They're just different colors, but I'll kind of show you the issues with these, because they are kind of the same sleeves, but there's a pretty big difference, and the reason I'm not using these anymore. But basically, in today's video, I'm going to go over my favorite band of sleeves, or my past favorite band of sleeves, and one that I hope, I don't want this video to be calling anyone out. That's not really what it's for. I just want them to improve, because I love the sleeves so much, and I want to go back to using them. So what I'm talking about is I've been having some issues with the Ultra Pro non-matte sleeves, and I buy so many of these, like boxes of these sleeves, because they're my favorite, and I love them. I love them in all sorts of colors. I've used them for years now, and I'm not a fan of matte sleeves, like the Eclipse sleeves, and this is kind of hard to show on camera, because actually on camera, because there's a light shining on them, they look a lot better, but if you want to see the main problem with matte sleeves, so we have a matte sleeve on the right and a non-matte sleeve on the left, is that the matte sleeves look foggy, and they look really foggy in person. They look really foggy on videos where you don't have a light right in front of them. From the front, it's like okay, but I think what you find when you're in person is you more get this sort of comparison where you have one side that's very foggy, one side that's perfectly clear. And this is the same comparison that you can make with any sort of Ultra Pro sleeves, non-matte versus matte. These ones aren't Ultra Pros, that's a new brand of sleeves, but I find the same thing even when you compare like the Ultra Pro non-mattes to like Ultra Pro Eclipses, which by the way are probably one of the better sleeves on the market, but I have an issue with them I'll talk about. But I find that it just looks a lot clearer when you have the non-matte finish. So as someone that always profiles decks, I like to use the non-matte sleeves. Not that the Eclipses are bad sleeves, they're actually really good. It's just for me personally, not a fan. So here's the issue I've been having. First off, the Ultra Pro non-matte sleeves, ones that I've been using, the biggest issue I've been having, the reason I've been looking for a new sleeve to replace it over the past couple months, is that they're miscut. And I'll show some different degrees of being miscut here, but here's what we're looking at. I know for some of you are going to say this doesn't matter, but I'm going to tell you why it matters in this video. So if you look at these cards, some players might be saying, well, those all look about the same. Well, trust me, as someone that's touching them, I can feel a pretty big difference. And you might be able to see it with the first 5 or so. There's like 3 of them that are different heights than the rest, and when you run your finger along, you can feel that with your finger. And these were sleeves that were literally never used. I only used them for one deck profile, never played a game with them, and they still have that miscut issue. It's an issue right outside of the package. And then when we get this new one, this is one that I tried to use on a deck, and I sleeved it up, and I was like, I can't use this. And the reason I can't use it, unfortunately, is because look at it. There's like 3 different heights there. How is this acceptable? I know these are the cheaper sleeves, and when I look at sleeves, I'm not looking at price. All I'm looking at is how the cards look and how the cards feel, and these still feel really good except for the bumps on the sides. But how is this acceptable? This is right out of the package, and when you put the cards in there and try to shuffle, you can feel the different heights. It is a noticeable difference from the other sleeves out there. And I know people are going to say, well, you just have them at different heights, and it's like, no, like the sleeves are physically bigger than the other sleeves in there, and it's a real shame because, and you can even see, so these ones don't have any cards in them, right? And they're already like very, very miscut. And I know this isn't like a perfectly scientific way to do this, but they're all like pretty miscut. And you can see that one really obviously on camera. When I opened the Eclipse sleeves, the first thing I noticed, this was like my first attempt at finding a different sleeve, because I really want to stick with Ultra Pro, because I love Ultra Pro sleeves so much. And I got these, and I'm just like, the first thing I noticed, like they're so good, and I gotta push them down a little bit, but they're so good. Like they're so close to being perfectly cut, and this makes sense, right? These are the premium sleeves. They cost twice as much as the other sleeves. And I know that a lot of people that just go to locals, they probably don't care about the stuff, but the problem is if you play with a bunch of miscut sleeves, and just by pure chance, if you sleeve up your deck and some of your better cards, or a lot of your better cards, are like the bigger sleeves, if you get deck checked, there's gonna be people looking at you saying, well, why are these sleeves bigger? And it's always been in the past an issue when you use sleeves from different like like packages, and that was kind of an issue with like that graphics screener when you had 60 card decks. But now it seems to be an issue as far as the regular Ultra Pros go, the non-matte ones. It seems to be an issue within the package itself that there's different ones. But I just want to show you the Eclipse ones on here, that they're very, very close. These ones can be pushed down a little bit more. But these ones, honestly, like the Eclipse sleeves are probably the best feeling sleeves on the market. I'm just not a fan of the matte sleeves. The Eclipse ones, KMCs have the issue. The Pro Matte, I feel like the worst looking sleeve on the market. I can't believe people use that. I just want to see the card as well as possible. Probably mostly because I do like deck profiles, and I used to take pictures for feature matches, and I wanted sleeves to like look really nice. So that's why I'm not a fan of the matte sleeves. But the Eclipse ones, if you don't mind how matte sleeves look, they feel the best, and they're very high quality, and they have a cool gimmick to them. If you don't know, I guess I didn't show it. They're one color on the back and one color on the front. So they're black on the front, white on the back. Gives like a cool sort of optical illusion effect, and they're really cool. I will say the other issue with this one that I was having when I was shuffling, because I was going to use these at my most recent regional, but I used these at like one regional a year ago, and I remembered this problem. These sleeves, it seems like the cards always float to the top. I posted about this on Twitter if anyone had any fixes. It seems like someone said, I can't say if this is true or not, but someone said when someone came in and showed them Ultra Pro Eclipses, they were like marketed as like the inside layer when you double sleeve a card. That would make a lot more sense to me if you had like a clear layer on top to prevent this from happening. But basically already you can kind of see there's not like a ton of room on top, but when I would shuffle it, even just like a couple minutes worth of shuffling, I would find that the card would go not over the top, but it would go like right to the very, very, very top, and that's like a little risky when you're talking about like $100 cards, right? Having like the edge at the very top of the edge of the sleeve, that is pretty risky, because that definitely can lead to some damage, and that's why I can't really use these ones. I actually have the same issue with KMC sleeves. It's worth mentioning, I do not have the issue with any of the regular Ultra Pros, and once again, this is so weird because it's going to seem like I'm hating on Ultra Pro so much, but the truth is I almost exclusively have used Ultra Pros the past like 5 years. I love these sleeves so much, and that's why I'm critical on them, because I want them to be usable. And I find with the non-pro matte ones, the regular sleeves, the regular Ultra Pros that are like $3 or like $2.50 sometimes with discounts, I find that these are like the best sleeves for me personally, except for this miscut issue, and it's just too much for me to deal with. And I will mention the other thing that I really want to show you guys. Take a look at these ones. So these ones, look how straight that is. It's perfect, right? And I know that the cards themselves are kind of pushed up in the sleeves, and that's my fault for not taking care of that before the video. But these ones aren't miscut, right? They're not nearly as bad. Even if we compare like just the first 5 of these ones, they're not. Yeah, you can just tell right there. Like they're all perfect compared to these ones where you have a couple that are miscut, and especially the second one, I can definitely feel that one's like way taller. And you have this issue where like, these are the same sleeves. These are the same exact packaging, the same exact everything except for color, in like the same company, same generation of Ultra Pros, because they both have the clear stamp on them, which is how you tell, because these have the silver stamp that used to be like up in the corner. So somewhere in the last year, this issue started happening, and I wouldn't have made a video about it if it wasn't for the fact that this has happened to me at multiple different occasions, like at multiple different events. I bought sleeves from a variety of vendors, and they always keep having this issue. It used to just be like every other time. I mean, it used to just not be an issue a while ago, but now it seems to happen like every single time. I recently bought 20 packs of these things, like an entire box basically, and they were all miscut, and it's like, I don't know what to do with them. They're just kind of sitting around. Like I used them at YC Chicago for a couple rounds, but I just got so worried about getting deck checked that I had to switch. So that's kind of where I am right now. I'm sort of moving away from Ultra Pro, but that leads me to these new sleeves, which I've been using. I used them at the Rosemont Regional. These are fantastic. So they're only $1 more expensive than Ultra Pros. They do not have the little signature in the bottom left-hand corner, and these are so good. They feel exactly, and I don't know, like companies don't like when you like compare them to each other, but they feel exactly the same as the Ultra Pro non-mattes that I love so much. They feel like they look pretty much identical except for the insignia. Like even on the back, you can see like they have sort of that matte finish on the back, but no matte on the front. And these are ultimate guard sleeves. So take a look here. We got Supreme UX Japanese size, which is like small. Then we have because it says, I don't know, sometimes they put like, I know that Player's Choice puts Yu-Gi-Oh size on the front, but a lot of people call it like the Japanese size. Just mainly talking about like Yu-Gi-Oh. I don't know why. I guess Yu-Gi-Oh is like a copyrighted term. It feels like you should be able to do that though. And then we have the Ultimate Guard on the front there, and there's 60 in here, and like they say some stuff on the side. The main thing that I was focusing on, at least was for me personally, was extra high clearness, which is absolutely true. They look great on camera, and then ideal fitting and size. Also, yeah, I noticed these do not float to the top, which is very important for me. That was like the main reason I didn't want to use the Eclipse ones, and also they look really good. Because if the Eclipse ones just had like the matte finish and they didn't float to the top, I'd probably use them because I like Ultra Pro sleeves a lot. I respect like the company. I think the quality has always been really great up until like recently, but as far as durability goes, I like the Ultra Pro sleeves a lot, and I have used them very frequently over the past couple of years here. But these ones, I can't say too much for the durability because I only use them for that one event. I will say one issue I noticed right out of the box, just for full disclosure, you can kind of see how like there's like a little bubble there and a little bubble there. That's like on the very bottom of, let me see if I can figure out which card that is. It's at the very bottom of the card, and you can't really see it from the front, right? But it's just like a little tiny bubble, little tiny dent. And I noticed that right out of the package that like 5 of them had that. And then throughout the day, I got a couple more. So I had to switch sleeves out throughout the day for that. Personally, I don't think people would actually like really notice if that. I don't think that'd be like, that just seems like normal wear and tear. But overall, these Ultimate Guard sleeves have definitely been way better in terms of the cut. I guess I should have probably showed that. Looking from the side, once again, you have perfectly cut, perfectly even stuff. Very similar to these old Ultra Pro sleeves, where both of them have the same thing. They're straight right across. They don't have any miscutting issues. You don't have 2 sizes. You don't have 3 sizes. You just have the 1 size. And I think for now, until Ultra Pro fixes their sleeves that I love so much, I'm going to have to stick with these Ultimate Guard ones. No, I was not like promoted or sponsored or anything by Ultimate Guard. They did send me some stuff in the past. They didn't actually send me sleeves in the past, though, and I wish if I would have found those in that package that they sent me, I probably would have been using them a little bit longer now, because I've been having this issue with these Ultra Pros for about a year and a half. But these sleeves are really good, and I'm not, like I said, not sponsored by Ultimate Guard. They haven't paid me. They didn't even know I was doing this video. Neither company did. It's not like I'm that important for them to actually need to know I'm doing this video. But I hope Ultra Pro takes this seriously. I don't think this will ever make it to someone at Ultra Pro, but I really do want them to know I'm a huge fan of their products. I use Ultra Pro for all deck boxes, binders, everything, and I've been using their sleeves, but it's just this quality control is just not up there. And it's not just one box. It's not just one case of them, because I've been having this issue for like a year over the course of so many different events, so many different vendors, and it's still being an issue. I hope they can fix it, but until then, I'm sticking with these Ultimate Guard sleeves because, yeah, they've actually been pretty good so far. So I'm going to use those at YC Atlanta, use them at the ARG Chicago, and see how they go. Maybe there's like some glaring issue I'm missing, but as far as I can tell, very good for players that were using Ultra Pro non-mats like I've been using, but have been having issues with these miscuts. If you've been in that same boat as me, I think switching to the Ultimate Guards is like the way to go, at least for the time being until Ultra Pro switches back, because admittedly the Ultimate Guards are like $1.50 more, so if you're someone that's a little bit more price conscious, maybe you don't care so much about the miscuts, you just want the cheaper sleeve. But anyway, hopefully you guys enjoyed this discussion video. I know a little bit different, but I thought it was serious enough to talk on a video just because I think sleeves are very, very important. I'll see you later though. Goodbye.